Hi there. Welcome to TAM Studios. My name's Christopher Visick, a technical account manager based out of Melbourne. So, if you're a WFM admin, planner, or forecaster, you'll be interested in this one. As of June 30, Genesis Cloud has now introduced the long anticipated feature of capacity planning within the WEM framework. And if you'd like to know more, follow along. Within Genesis Cloud Workforce Management, capacity planning now enables organizations to create long-term capacity plans by forecasting demand and aligning labor needs across multiple operational units. And also planners can make updates to these inputs in a capacity plan to immediately see the latest calculated results. These results help users to quickly create multiple what-if scenarios by copying an existing capacity plan and adjusting its inputs. There are some key benefits to capacity planning. These are long-term staff planning, where you can create a capacity plan for up to 2 years using automatic best method forecasting or ABM. You're able to view business unit level staffing results to understand staffing deficiencies or overages at an entire business unit level. You're also able to make staffing adjustment decisions by analysing planning group level results. And lastly, we're able to support multi-skill planning, whereby you can configure capacity plans for multiple planning groups to be handled by multiple staffing groups for more accurate staffing results. There are a few use cases for capacity planning, one of which is long-term hiring forecasting. A planner can create a 2-year hiring plan for a specific business unit. Using capacity planning, the planner can then project long-term staffing needs based on forecasted interaction and handle times, anticipate shrinkage and attrition rates. This approach helps the business align recruiting and training timelines for future demand. We can also manage seasonal spikes, such as if a contact centre anticipates higher call volume during a holiday season. Capacity planning enables planners to model expected increases in the required full-time equivalent or FTE and add an on-ramp strategy such as temporary staffing or early hiring for onboarding. And lastly, we're able to evaluate outsourcing options to reduce internal load. An example being if a team considers shifting overflow to an outsourcer. By creating a capacity plan scenario, the planner can see how changes affect staffing needs and explore different options before making that shift official. Also, further information is available on capacity planning within the Genesis Cloud Resource Centre. Now, there are some prerequisites for using capacity planning. Firstly, we need to confirm and set up the planning group and staffing group associations, as planning groups define the types of work that need to be completed, and the staffing group defines the group or teams of staff that handle that work. This association tells the system the groups of agents that can handle that type of work. One last thing to note is agents can only be assigned one staffing group. You may have already seen also that staffing groups are already used in the system for time off limits and time off plans, but now they're being used within the capacity planning area also. In regards to capacity planning functionality and licensing, a given customer would be required to purchase either the WEM add-on, the CX1 or 2, the CX3 or 4 license, or the standalone EX license. So let's get into a demo and see what capacity planning looks like now. So here we are in a sandbox environment. If you run down to workforce management, you can see there is capacity plans. Capacity plans is under capacity planning. As you can see, I don't have any capacity plans created as yet. But first, let's just jump into that configuration that needs to be done first within staffing groups. So here we have a staffing group already created. with the list of assigned agents, we now have a new tab called Capacity Planning. And this is where the planning group and staffing group association is made. Once this has been completed, you're ready to go for capacity planning. So let's jump back into capacity plans and let's create a new one. I've already created a forecast, which is 70 weeks long. What I'm going to do is just create a name. We can add a description, and then we choose our forecast. My forecast actually starts on the 21st of July, and you can see here that we select from it, and it's 70 weeks in duration. We can confirm that. It pulls down the start time and the end date and the duration. You can see here also that there is an error that is actually produced, and that's just advising that there's actually 3 planning groups unassociated, and I'm okay with that. In this wizard, we've got a few options here. First, we need to define the FTE hours per week. We've got 2 clickable items here of 37.5 or 40 hours a week. And I'm going to choose 37.5. The headcount has been pulled from the actual forecast. And we can change that if we wish to for our starting FTE. We can input our weekly attrition rates and our shrinkage. I'm just going to put in our shrinkage at the moment at 30% and hit save. Now it's creating that particular staffing requirement for the capacity plan. This might take a few minutes to create. As you can see, the capacity plan has now been created. Now, due to this being a sandbox demo environment, we don't have real data here. But certainly you can see that you can see the unders and overs for our staffing FTE requirements. We can see that graphically and also within the table below in the staffing summary. We also see our staffing input summary where we can actually make adjustments and do our what if analysis. We've got a direct link to the forecast. And we've also got on the right-hand side an overview of our particular capacity plan that we've created. Now, in regards to making those adjustments, we can then actually go in and edit and create modifications. In this scenario, we can see that we can select from different metric types, being our starting FTE, our attrition percentage, our new hire FTE, and we can change our shrinkage percentage also. This can be done within a single week or consecutive weeks. As you can see via the actual graph here, I'm fairly understaffed. So, and if you highlight, we can see the unders and overs in detail. In this case, I'm understaffed by 5.7 FTE across the board for quite a lot of this particular capacity plan. What I will do is, let's just say a what if scenario. What's going to happen if I actually place new hires from this start date of the 1st of September all the way through, and new hires and 7 FTE, we can create a note. Add our staffing group for consecutive weeks, and we'll run this to December the 1st. We hit save, and from there we can actually see the results. Now, if I want to save this, it has already been saved, and it can actually go in and now do another what if scenario and copy that existing capacity plan. We can change it to something else. And we're going to add the attrition rate, for example. The forecast has already been chosen. Let's save that. As you can see, our new capacity plan has been created, and we're now able to add that particular attrition rate. So let's go in, make it editable, and our attrition percentage over consecutive weeks. Let's start on the 29th of September. Select our staffing group and place in our attrition rate of 2 FTE. Let's see what happens. And as you can see now, with that attrition rate applied, we can actually see the effects on our FTE. So I hope you enjoyed this quick WFM capacity planning functionality video that is now available within Genesis Cloud. If you have any questions or feedback, please email us at tamstudios@genesis.com. Thanks for watching and hope to see you on the next one.